Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's JT here, and we have another great episode. Today we have with us Marzio from ANote Music. He's the CEO of ANote Music, and it's a pleasure to have him on this morning. So, without further ado, let me just bring him onto the channel. All right, hello,
Hi,
Marzio. How you
JT.
doing?
Hi. Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks to you, and thank you for having us.
Of course. It's always a pleasure to talk to people building in the Algorand ecosystem, so happy to have you on. Could we just start off with a brief introduction on, who you are, your background, and then how you got involved with A-Note Music and in the blockchain space in general?
Sure, definitely. Marzio Schena. I come from the financial sector. And after a career in finance, in sell side, in buy side as a fund manager in Luxembourg, together with my future co-founder, we saw an opportunity in kind of creating a bridge between music and finance, and looking at music as an alternative investment opportunity. That was 2018, and that's when our journey started. We straight away created a company, called it ANote Music, with the concept of giving the opportunity to people to invest in a note, so in the atomic subdivision of a song, meaning giving the opportunity to invest in fragmented ownership of music rights. That was 2018. It was the year after the crash of the ICOs.
Yep.
So, when it was a moment when blockchain was still kind of a cool and innovative term, but it was kind of, like people were not that sure that if you went out with tokens, with ICOs, it was the right moment to do it. So that's why we created a platform mostly based on Web2, with blockchain in our backend to kind of managing databases. We were based in Ethereum back in the days. And now, we think that now the moment has changed. I mean, yeah, the world is, let's say, ready for actually entering into a more crypto intensive economy, also kind of having reflections in the traditional Web2 ecosystems like the one that we have. So this is why 2022 is the year in which we are accelerating our integration, let's say, with a series of blockchain related and crypto based on Algorand, of course, technologies.
Awesome. So, of course, could you explain what the difference, what sets A-Note Music apart from its competitors in the space? I know Opulus Music is doing something similar, and I know they're not alone. Could you just speak to us about that and what sets A-Note apart from the rest?
Yes, that's definitely. So we are properly said a marketplace for music royalties, a marketplace for music catalogs. So we are joining, let's say, we are developing a market which is already existing, the market of where players in the music industry exchange between themselves, or sometimes with investment funds, their copyright. So we deal with artists, songwriters, record labels, publishers, and we provide, let's say, access to monetization, liquidity opportunities. So we are, from this point of view, entering the music business from a financial standpoint, increasing the value of music transactions, rather than starting from the NFT, let's say, ecosystem, where you create something new, you give the opportunity to the fan base in entering into new transactions that you create, let's say, for the purpose of giving access to NFTs. So let's say that we take originally a market, the market of music royalties or music catalog, which is ever expanding, the market of transactions of music rights, and we bring it to blockchain rather than, let's say, the opposite.
Yep.
So from this point of view, you can see on our platform kind of a more financial mentality. You can see a very strong user experience for the investors that can have a look at the past history of royalty flows of music catalogs. So we use exactly the same methodologies that you find in big transactions when Bob Dylan, Shakira, or whoever is selling their catalogs to big firms. We use basically the similar model, but on blockchain.
And you guys have been live since 2018, correct?
2018, we created ANote. In July, we founded a company. Live, the platform is live since August 2020. So in August 2020, we closed the first auction. Of course, it took us 1 year and a half, 2 years of prep work, like legal,
Yeah.
regulatory, technical, before we could launch the product.
Yeah, that makes sense. And, A-Note Music allows investors to invest in music rights and music royalties. Could you just explain briefly what music rights and music royalties are?
Yes, definitely, definitely. So let's say that when you produce music, everything starts from the creative process. So creative process meaning that you as a songwriter or you as an artist, you create, the song, you participate in the creation of a song. Hence, you have the rights to receive future compensation anytime that a song is played, streamed, listened on radio, synchronized with a movie, and so on and so forth around the world. Together with the songwriter, together with the artist, who is the actual performer of a song, usually you also have two business players, players in the music business that help these two creators in their journey, which are called record label, which is the one helping, let's say, the artist, helping or providing support, marketing and advice and so on and so forth to the artist, and the publisher. The publisher is, let's say, the business player together with the songwriter. So you usually have four players that have the right, to the music rights, and these are indeed songwriter, artist, publisher, and record label. And any time that a song is played again and used around the world, there is a generation of royalties coming, for example, from streaming. Every time that you pay $10 to Spotify, a portion of this goes to these four players. Or any time that a song is listened on the radio, this is generating again royalties from advertisement that the radios pay, let's say, to these players. So it's how the economy of music somehow works.
That makes sense. Now, how does A-Note Music utilize the blockchain? Because on the fact section of A-Note Music's webpage, it states that A-Note has their own proprietary cutting-edge blockchain, and it also states that A-Note publishes the current state of your blockchain to the Ethereum main chain every couple of blocks. So I guess my question is, how many chains do you currently utilize? Because also, of course, you're currently using Algorand.
Yes, yes. So this was indeed before 2022, we had been using Ethereum. We had been using Ethereum with the concept of plasma chain. Plasma chain meaning that we were uploading the state of our platform not any time that there was a transaction, but say at the end of the day or periodically, also to reduce, of course, the huge transactions cost that you
Yeah.
have, the
Yeah.
gas cost, the gas fees on Ethereum. Then in 2022, we decided to move to Algorand for a series of reasons, and starting from, I think it was March, yes, on the 14th of March, everything on our platform is, as soon as a transaction happens, it's verifiable on Algorand. So we basically backported all our backend activities into Algorand. So every user joining our platform right now has an associated Algo wallet. Right now we store the private keys. In the future, we will also release this. Every catalog on our platform also is associated with an ASA, so with Algorand Standard Assets. So whenever you, as a user, with your e-wallet or on our platform with our e-wallet, you buy a share of a catalog, you will also have your Algorand e-wallet acquiring the corresponding share of the Algorand Standard Asset. And this is, I mean, from a business point of view and so from user experience point of view, it's adding, let's say, a huge security, to the whole framework. Whatever happens to our database, whatever happens to ANote, whatever happens, we are sure that on-chain ownership cannot be disputed. And also the payments can proceed also in an independent way from ANote Music in the future, royalty flowing directly to the Algo wallets. So this is our goal, to create a market which is, and to, let's say, improve the current market of music royalties by creating a solution which is, let's say, as much eternal as possible and as less dependent on us as possible.
How difficult was it to transition from Ethereum over to Algorand? And besides what you just laid out, what are the significant benefits of the transition?
So this one, of course, I would let our development team
Yeah, yeah,
answer in how much sweat they had to put into the transition.
that's fair.
Let's say that we started discussing with Algorand before actually we pressed the button of transitioning. So I know that like our CTO was spent some time understanding Algorand, speaking with the development team of Algorand, and this is something that we should never underestimate: the opportunity of picking up the phone and speaking with somebody. As much as I hate When I book a train ticket or a flight ticket, something goes wrong and I cannot pick up the phone and call the customer service or whatever, KLM or British Airways. So I hate when I'm using new technology and there is no kind of people explaining us what are the ins and outs. Instead, in Algorand, you find really, it's not customer service, of course, but you find development team, business development team, the IT team, which are always very happy to help you understand, to help them improve, and to help us improve. So it's really kind of I hate using this word, kind of a family approach, kind of a community approach, which is
Yep.
very, very, we really care about a lot.
Yeah, it does seem like there's a lot of collaboration as opposed to
Yeah.
competitiveness in the space, at least currently in this early part of the space. Now, what cryptocurrencies can be utilized on the platform? Are users able to purchase shares and cash out using cryptocurrency?
Yes, we currently have gave the opportunity of using cryptocurrencies, but we are right now passing through euros. So our platform is based in euros. We are as part of our roadmap for 2022, we have some improvements here. So also creating kind of a level playing field in terms of currency, also for addressing people that maybe they don't have their wallets, portfolios, or whatever based in euros. But yes, already right now it's possible to pay in Ethereum, in Bitcoin, in other currencies, Algorand, and so on, by converting into euros at I think, very low transaction costs, and then having the wallets where transactions are happening.
Of course. Now, do you or will you have your own token for ANote Music?
Yes, we will. We will. It's part of our 2022 roadmap.
Okay. And what will that token's function be?
The function of the token, it will be a utility token. Right now, we will release the functionalities of the token in our reveal event in Q2. So sit tight. We will soon disclose the utility functionalities. It will be the primary token indeed for our platform. So it's going to be used also for monetary purposes, as well as, of course, additional perks and advantages for holding a token. And at the end of the day, the usual perks, the usual advantages holding a token in terms of accessing deals before the others and participating to the community, the whole ecosystem. For us, the token is really solving a problem also from a point of view of leveling the playing field in terms of currencies. We are based in Europe. We are the European marketplace. We are based in the center of Europe, Luxembourg, but we reckon that there are many users that we have that may, again, as I was saying, not reason in terms of euros. So the token will mostly cover this reason, as well as creating further incentives for the artists that participate to the platform, the labels, the publisher, whoever is listing their music right on our platform will also have some benefits from the token usage.
Now, according to this article that I recently read, ANote Music is also co-financed by the government in Luxembourg. Is that true?
Yes, they are our cheerleaders. We love this fact. I mean, it's you have a
Yeah,
question, right?
yeah, no, that is really cool. I was just going to ask if you could speak more to that, so I was going to let you go.
Yeah, yeah. Luxembourg is a very small country in the middle of Europe, right?
Yeah.
So from a series of points of view, it's a disadvantage having a very small kind of market inside. So it's a country where you have 600,000 people. So the music market is basically non-existent.
Hmm.
Even if from a financial point of view, it's a huge hub. It's the second hub in the world for investment funds. But it might be complex for a startup, for a company, starting there. Also, maybe hiring and attracting talent. So this is why we are very welcoming, kind of initiatives that are meant to promote innovation in Luxembourg, that since the early 20th century has been establishing itself as a country which is always at the forefront of innovation. Luxembourg was the first to do big industries in the iron industry in the early 20th century. Then they moved to fiscal policies. When fiscal, I mean, having an efficient fiscal treatment was hot. Then they moved into fintech, and they became a fintech hub. Now they're moving to aerospace. So Luxembourg is a place where the government and the institutions are really eager to innovate, to always be at the forefront. So this is why they are very, very keen to promote activities like ours, which are innovating, of course, not disrupting, not destroying, not revolutionizing, but innovating, reforming, businesses like music, so connection to the creative sector, businesses like blockchain that we're doing, and the business of finance, which is at the end of the day, we are also dealing with alternative investment asset classes. So we have a very fruitful relationship with the government and with the decision makers, which is translating in us having kind of this partnership or co-financing in R&D mostly.
Now, this one might be a little bit more of a basic question. Is there a difference between owning shares and owning a catalog? Or is it
Owning a cat,
or is it shares of a catalog that you're owning?
yeah, shares of a catalog. I mean, when
Okay.
you own a catalog, you own a big animal. When you own the shares, you own the shares of the catalog.
And do you sell individual songs as well, or is it only through catalogs?
We did it once with "I Love to Love." It's a song from the 70s, and in that case, we decided to try, to list one song. It
Yeah.
worked well. So in the future, we don't exclude also doing this model more frequently. But mostly, we did with catalogs. Catalog is kind of the informal terminology that you use for expressing a group of songs that come from the same seller. So you as a record label, you have your own catalog. You as an artist, you have all the songs that you produced in the past for which you have the rights. Once you come to us on our platform, you show us the statements, and then let's say we create a package, which is your catalog, and then we give you the opportunity of listing on the platform.
Now, a lot of artists complain about the, amount of royalties they get from Spotify and the like. How does the macro music market look and currently, and what do you think about it going, 5, 10 years into the future?
The macro market of music has been bullish since 2017. Has been bullish since 2017, meaning that in 2014 you had the bottom. Then it started to resurrect slowly.
Yeah.
2016, 17, you started having some positive feelings from the general financial as well as the music ecosystem. And in 2019, somehow 2020, the fact that the market was bullish, everybody started understanding it. Now, I'm saying it was because now I think it's more bullish than it was before. I think that all the applications of joining forces between NFTs and like blockchain is creating new revenue streams, new ways of monetization. The fact that Spotify is not paying a lot, I think that somehow there are like I think that there are opportunities and something is changing also from a streaming point of view. The addition of NFTs is probably giving some reasons and some new economies for actually paying more the players that are uploading their music on streaming platforms. And so I'm very, very bullish personally, and we remain very bullish. Let's remember that the music market is a market which at the end of the day is one of the biggest in the world. We are 8 billion people in the world. Each of us, we have primary needs, including eating and sleeping, and each of us, we listen to music. I mean,
Yeah.
from Antarctica, whoever lives there, to here, to US, Africa. This is really, music is something which is making humanity as once. And there are now ways for somehow monetizing or probably recognizing more value to all the creators in the music industry that were not there 5 years ago.
Yeah, we might all have differences of opinion on what music we like, but I've never met somebody that doesn't listen to music. So, could songs listed on ANote Music also be streamed on decentralized platforms such as Audius? I'm not sure if you've heard of Audius before.
Yeah, why not?
Makes sense to
Definitely.
me. Do you,
I mean, remember this. I mean, we as a platform, we are a bridge.
Yep.
We are a bridge between finance and music. Music works. Finance works. They just need a bridge. We are the bridge. So we are not here to say, okay, a song which is listed on our platform cannot be streamed there. We would be mad if we were doing this. First of all, because you remove potential from the song, you remove potential development for the artist and make the song and so on and so forth. So we are just here to reform, to provide new means, leverage, and so on and so forth, increasing the value at the end of the day, recognizing the value, creating liquidity.
That's a solid answer. Now, does owning shares on ANote give the holder the right to use the music in any way?
No, it doesn't. You have the right, one right only right now on the platform, which is the right to receive a corresponding percentage of the royalties. I mean, imagine, first of all, what you said, which is using the song. In what ways? You can use the song, maybe listening it. Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
You can listen.
Yeah, I
to it.
suppose I suppose I'm more meant on like not necessarily a commercial way, but maybe like in the background of this YouTube video or something.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't give this right. This is kind of let's say you need to have a license for doing that, or you can, as a publisher, as a record label, can have the right to somehow decide where the song is used or how it's streamed, where it goes. The point is that by doing this, if we were to give this right, we would need to give the right to 10,000
Yeah.
shareholders, let's say shareholders, which would create a lot of problems. You would need to probably have a board of directors of a song. You would probably need to have a share, like it's creating a lot of problems of corporate governance. Whenever you have more than one person deciding on the future of an asset or of a right. So in order to avoid these problems, also in order to avoid maybe investors that maybe they don't, honestly know what to do with the song, we don't transfer these ownership rights. We don't have them as well. I mean, the artists listing their catalog on our platform, they're not transferring the management rights or the rights to use or any licensing, if not the right to receive the royalties.
That makes sense. Yeah, it seems like more of a problem to be tackled by Dequency, which is a music licensing platform building on Algorand. Uh, so, what are some good tips for investors when trying to value a catalog?
First of all, you need to love the music and try to understand it. I mean, let's remember the most important risk factor that drives the performance, the royalties of a catalog is music listening habits. Once you identify a catalog which is made of songs or a series of songs that are somehow sticky in the maturity phase, where you have a consumer base of people that next year are more likely to continue listening to this song as much as they did today, then dropping the song, then you have identified something which, from our point of view, from my personal point of view, something interesting to look at. Then, of course, there are all the parameters from a financial point of view, quantitative point of view, qualitative point of view. So you can look at the genre. The genre is one of the most important determinants in understanding the value of a song, how much it will perform in the future. You can be in a very bullish, let's say, if we can use this term, hot genre, like country. Some years ago, it was considered a hot genre. Like instead, dance music was considered to be a dropping genre. And then you want to look at the royalties, royalty flows, how much they have been stable, how much you think, how old are the songs? This is very, very important. The older songs, the more stable they are, I mean, the more, rock solid they can be. It's like, imagine that you look at a house, they tell you, you can buy a house. Will you buy a house in the city center? Will you buy a house that has been there in an area which has been proven to be, like kind of a top spot for many years, or maybe it's in the suburbs where you see that maybe in the future will not be that clear if people will still go there. So it's kind of similar reasoning that you need to make.
How long are royalties paid out after purchasing a share?
Yeah, it depends. It depends. First of all, we need to understand from a point of view of the right, the underlying right, to receive the royalties. Most of the times, royalties. Music continues paying out royalties. I mean, music rights have a life of at least 70 years. In cases, for example, of publishers, you have 70 years after the death of the last author, so of the last songwriter, of the last creator that took part in the creation. So they're very long-lasting rights. Compare them, for example, to patents. Like in this case, it's sometimes 20 years. In this case, it's
Hmm.
very long term. So on our platform, we deal both with catalogs that are listed for the life of rights, so basically for a long tail. This is why, as I was mentioning before, it's important that we create a system which is able to survive, whatever company is dealing with the transaction. So this is why blockchain really comes in handy. At the same time, though, we also deal with transactions where catalogs are listed only for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 5 years. So the right investors to have the right to receive the royalties only for a limited amount of years, after which the rights to receive the royalties go back to the seller. In this case, of course, you have a different pricing methodology.
Makes sense to me. And could you do a little bit of a deep dive on how the listing auctions work and how the secondary market works?
Yeah, definitely. So our everything on our platform start with an auction, which is that kind of the price discovery. So the seller, be the publisher, record label, artist. I mean, they define the basic price, and from there we receive the bids from investors. Investors, maybe one is interested in buying. Let's say the basic price is 20 euros per share, and there are 10,000 available. we receive an order from an investor interested in buying 100 shares at the price of 20. Another one maybe says, I would like to buy 1,000 at the price of 21, and so on and so forth for the whole duration of the auction. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. After that, you order, all the bids received by price. By price, you order them in decreasing. The highest price comes first. And then you stop when the cumulative number of bids, of quantities, reaches 10,000. And that price that you reach is the price at which the auction closes. And everybody which is above this price will end up paying this price. Everybody which is below this price will not get assigned any royalties. This is called the auction method, the Dutch auction method, and it's the same one it used in finance when you price IPOs or government bonds. After this, there is the secondary market. Secondary market is an investor that bought at 21 is interested to sell. He wants to generate liquidity. Maybe somebody wants to enter, and so you have a traditional trading book with prices going up and going down.
Yeah, I think Algorand used a Dutch auction when they first launched their token as well. So, yeah, I'm sure a lot of us in this community are well aware of how that works already. Now, the original offerer can choose to buy back shares at a premium. Could you walk us through that process a little bit?
You mean the transfer of the original seller?
Yeah, or at least that's what or maybe I misunderstood the fact, but I believe that's what I read on the fact. I think it was like a 15% premium.
Yeah, correct. This is one of the most important features that we have on the platform, which is, let's say, it's kind of a market first, because many times we see catalogs that are, kind of exchange hands, and then one of the parties is not satisfied, or maybe in the future they're interested in gaining back ownership of something that they produced, they created. So this is why we are giving the opportunity to anybody who's selling their catalog on our platform, listing their catalog on our platform, to in the future have the right to buy back, of course at the slight premium, in order to compensate the investors. And at the end of the day, this is a formula that you see existing in the financial markets. Like the opportunity for buying back something, for participating to the market and being an active market player, in the secondary market. So this is why we have created this formula. It's called, let's say, it's close to the drag along formula that you can see in startups, in companies.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And so that just about wraps up the questions I have. And typically around this time, I'd look over at the chats. If anyone watching does have any questions they want answered, just go ahead and ask those now. But I am not seeing any currently. Is there anything we haven't discussed that you'd like to bring attention to my audience?
I love Algo Rocks, the comment and that we received.
Yep. Here, we'll put that on screen
I
real
mean,
quick.
I think it covered a lot. I mean, we covered the usage of Algorand that we have, and there is one thing that is important about Algorand. Algorand is really, I mean, you mentioned Dequency, for example. You mentioned Opulus. Algorand is very committed to and Silvio himself. They're very committed to the creator economy. So Algorand is a blockchain that I think has a lot of potential in the future, because it not only deals with solutions that can be scalable very easily to the big financial markets, but also for helping and improving the creator economy and gaining more efficiency, transparency, liquidity through our solutions, through Dequency, through Opulus, and through many other solutions. So we're very, very proud to be part of the community, and we're going to stick here for long.
We do have one question just rolled in, and we did answer this at the very beginning. So I'll just once this is up, just go back to the beginning. The answer is yes. ANote will have a token, but
Yes.
yeah, feel free to rewind, and that question is answered probably about 15 minutes prior to this.
We will soon disclose all the functionalities, the tokenomics, and all of these topics. Very interesting topics.
Yeah, and if you'd like, as you get closer to the token generation event, if you'd like to come back on the show to discuss it a little further, you're more than welcome to.
Would love to. Definitely. Let's do this.
Awesome. Well, this about wraps it up for all the questions I had and all the questions it seems to be in the audience. So I appreciate you coming on the show and answering all of my questions. This has been a delight.
Great. Thank you again. Thank you, JT. Loved our conversation, and let's keep in touch.
Of course. Take care.